Okay, here's some traditional paints, and here's the Viviva paints. We got our traditional brush here. We have some water. So let's get the Viviva blue and see what that looks like. There it is, Persian blue. Okay, there's Persian blue. Looks shiny. I'll take one drop of that, like that, done. Okay, that's one drop of the Persian blue. Let's give that sky a quick little wash. So I'm going to move my painting this way and put it on really quickly, rub it across. Notice that I've left it so that the paint fills in different areas and gives me an interesting sky. And the little white areas, I don't care about those. I like that. I can come back if I want right now. I put some water and I can thin this down, thin it quite a bit, and I can come up to it and I can, see, soften the edge. Leave the white there for the snow. Bring it down. Soften the edge. Look at that. Now with most phthalo types, you couldn't do that because it goes in the paper too quickly. And then you don't, you can't get rid of it. It just stains, right? With these colors, 100% permanent and a little bit down the water. So whatever's in the sky, I put in the water just a little bit. I leave lots of white. Okay, ink and wash. That's all I did. That was quick. And I've left that to dry for a moment. Okay, now, so I'll go back to the traditional colors, and I'm going to make, right here, a neutral gray using a little bit of the Viviva orange. By the way, these Viviva colors will mix with the Graham or the Cotman, all the different brands, they'll mix in really well. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going with a little bit of a neutral, kind of a gray. Look at that. See? Just throwing in a little bit of neutral gray, a couple spots. And then I wash my brush off. Remember, it's ink and wash. So we're going to wash it, see? Just skipping over a few areas. Creating a mood. I like this kind of mood through there like a mist. Oh yeah. Hey, this is almost a Payne's gray, which is a warm gray. Can you see the orange mixed with the traditional cake pan blue has created this lovely, mysterious gray, or what we call neutral. Notice I'm still leaving a lot of white. Okay? Leaving white is very important. That's my gray. One little sweep through here. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. This is Canson paper. A couple little marks there. There we go. Let that dry. Okay, I'm at the part where, in the painting, where I'm going to switch to a smaller brush so that I feel I got a little more control. So I lift up my picture, and what have I got here? I have a nice orange here. Let's make sure my brush is clean. Oh, let's use the watercolor brush. Here we go. Here's a watercolor. There's water in it, see? And I'll put it in the traditional paints. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. Let's see how much comes out. Oh, that's not. So now the paint is in the little tip here. I'm going to test it down here. Squeeze the brush. Wow, look at that. Now it may just mix in. I'm going to leave it a little stronger, just a bit. Mixes in nicely next to the gray, see? So the sunshine could be sort of hitting there. Especially here. Oh, can you see the sun coming down through here? Now what I do, I squeeze the brush a little bit and it adds water to it. This is wet, so I'll leave that. Now this little yellow over the blue, see? You know, you get 3 of these for how much do you think? $6, $7. That's Canadian. So it's a good deal. Over here on my palette, you can see I have a pinch of the blue here, see? So I'm going to put that on here. I want to green it up a little bit. Just a little bit. I've had this brush for like months and it's still totally pointed because I treat it gently and it's performing for me. Well, what do you say we leave that for a moment and enjoy it for a second? Pines have their branches coming out in the same place, you see? I'll put a broken one there. So, you know, put a little mark. I like the way this points down here. And maybe I'll bring it down a little bit more like this, you see? So this is full of water right here. So I'm going to take a little bit of yellow to start with. If you're using cake pan colors, you'll get a better result if you let them soak a little bit like that. And the reason being that they soften up. With the Viviva colors, the color sheets, it just comes off right away. And we're going to let that dry for a second. And if you have too much water, just put your paper towel on it, soak it up. Okay, now it's thicker, see? And I'll go over that with a little blue later. And we should be doing really well. I'm looking for little white sections, you see, as if sunlight was striking them. But I still leave white showing. You'll notice a little bit here and here. And this time I'm going to take a little bit of the Viviva, just a drop like that. And let's see what happens there. See? Squeeze it. It's a lovely orange. It's kind of like a nickel azo yellow. But I'm going to put it in the foreground over the neutral. I want to contrast this to here, so I have to make this a little darker. I'll try some of the Cake Pan Burnt Sienna. There we go. Right there. Beautiful thing about these pens, squeeze them and they're clean. You can also dip them in the water if you want. A little bit of the manganese blue. And there we have a lovely neutral brownie color. Brownie. Is there such a word as brownie? I guess so. There we go. And up here I'm going to go, I think what I'll do is take a little more of the blue. And let's see what that looks like. I'm not sure. I think so, yeah. See, if you go light, you're probably not going to go too far. Remember, watercolors, once they're dark, it's a little hard to change and go light. So a little more of that, squeeze it. And let's drop a little of that bluey color in here. Just put it on and let it dry, see? Oh yeah, we want to contrast against here. Let's go with a strong orange. Take a little more of this. Take a little more of that. And let's make this darker so it contrasts against the waterfall. See? Oh, I like that. Squeeze it. There we go. And now I'm putting an overall orange wash over my underpainting. See, right over the yellow. I like that. It's warm. I like the warm color. Now I'm going the same here because I want to get a cool color on the waterfall and a warm color beside it all. Just a little bit there. Now that's a little too dark, so I squeeze my pen and just thin it down a bit so it's not quite so orange, because in the distance the colors get weaker. There. Beautiful. And what about up here on the top? Well, let's take a little bit more of that yellow and see what happens. Yep. Still have a few little white spots showing. I like that. And now it's time for a very strong blue. I'm going to use the Viva colors. I use a little paper clip to keep them together. And I'm going to go with the peacock blue. So take a little bit. That's it. Let's check that out. Right here. You saw how little I touched that. Oh my goodness. We got a lot of paint there. Still squeezing the pen brush. Okay, I'm going to go right there and just going to pop little drops on here. See? Little drops on the end of the pine tree. There we go. We'll let that dry for a second. Let's put a little bit down in here. And a little more in the water here. Just light. Maybe a little bit over here, see? On the top. Leave the bubbles white. Okay. Still not much contrast between here and here. I'm thinking I'm going to do a wash over the sky and make the sky a little darker. And I'm going to use my traditional brush, a big one, put in the water. You can hear it. And I'm going to take my palette right here. My porcelain palette's great. They just wipe right up. Watch this. No stain at all. That's what I like about it. Like I say, $10. And let's take a little peacock blue. So I just look for blue. There it is. Pick it up. And there it is. Right there. There's the green. There's the dark green. So a little water. And put a little water there. And so there's my blue. One drop of the peacock blue and it's going a long way. Now, so I start here. And I'm going to just go along very gently. You can just let the brushes just barely touching the paper. Now I'm going to switch to water. See? I take a little water now, add it over here, and I decide I might get a nice cloud out of there. You know what? I'm going to. I take a look at my shape here, and I clean my brush very well. And what I do is soften the edge.